I understand. I love that about you and Victoria. I mean, Pride Month ends today, but you're like, we'll take another week. I turn 50 next week, and I've already told everybody I'm taking the whole month. So I'm in big support of that. So I agreed to support Reverend Lesia in taking some time away with her family, which I honor all of you for stepping in and giving her some time off, because the best thing for a healthy community is to support and care for your ministers. So well done to all of you. And so it's my delight to come and speak with you all. But then I found out that the theme for the month is commitment. And my first thought was, I wonder if it's too late to get out of this. So I've never been one to embrace commitment with open arms. Derek and I have been together for 15 years. We've been engaged for 13. And I'm pretty sure another year or two and we'll know if this is solid. So that's how I feel about commitment. But I know. I actually am a deeply committed person. I just have stories I've made up about myself and commitment and letting people down. So I want to talk today a little bit about what does commitment mean in the time that we're living in, and that I think it has a partner, and that song was perfect, and I think that partner is faith. So let's talk about the time we live in. Sometimes I watch the news, and I must say it is not good for my mental well-being. We live in an interesting time, and sometimes it's hard, I find, to really embrace all of it and face it all. So I thought today I wanted to talk about one of the best tools that we have to get through this thing called life. And that is our imagination and our minds. We have these powerful, powerful minds. And they have the ability to look at things from a million different perspectives. So, if you think about, I know nobody carries a camera these days. We just all have our phones. But I still like to go out with my camera every so often. And you know how when you've got your camera, you can zoom in really close and look at something right up close, or you can pull back to the super wide angle and get the whole view. So that's what our minds can do for us. We can step in and look at life from the perspective of up close. And that's why I wanted to do that meditation this morning for those who joined, about really focusing into this present moment. Because when we can get right into this very moment, there is nothing that needs to change. Think about it. We can all do this right now. Just take a deep breath. We're all warm. We're comfortable. We're amongst lovely people. There is nothing that needs to change in this moment. Isn't that a great reminder that in all ways we have access to the perfection of the present moment? So when I turn on the news and I start to feel this heavy, energetic pressure inside of me that bubbles up in some fear and anxiety and angst, I can also go right back to taking a deep breath and sinking into the perfection of the present moment. And then we can take the view on the other side as well. If we look at life and the universe from the millions and billions of years, anything on the news doesn't even register. Right? So we have different perspectives. Now, lots of people will have perspectives they want to look at, and I'm certainly not advocating for us denying anything. I really think that the most powerful act of resistance we can have in our life right now is holding more than one thing as true at the same time. I think we can hold as true that this moment is perfect. And there's some things we might want to change in how we interact with each other in the world. And both are true. And on the scale of billions and billions of years, everything is unfolding absolutely perfectly. There is that universal intelligence that is at work in all ways. So ours is really, our opportunity is just to align with it. Our imagination allows us to look at whichever perspective we want. And so in this world where things, I think, are quite complex, it can also have a simplicity to it. Those are the two things, right? I don't know how AI works, and I know that I can take a deep breath in this moment. I know that I have that intelligence within me that guides me to my next right thing. So I think that we can live in this world and find peace in each moment, no matter what is happening on the day-to-day. And I think that one of the beautiful things is we have this power of our imagination, so that we can dive in and look deeply at things in the world that perhaps we'd like to change. And then we can move into the well-being, the peace, and the beauty that's also there at the same time. And the call within us for what we would like to create. I love a meditation where I just imagine the most beautiful world, exactly the way I see it, where everybody has the freedom to be who they are, where there is abundance and plenty and care and kindness and compassion in the world. And we have that powerful tool within us, our imagination, to plant those seeds. And those seeds make a difference. And so I think that we can all find simplicity in the complexity. So the title today is, I am a center for kindness and compassion. And for me, that is my guiding light. So for me, I am, I've been involved in social justice and advocacy, and I'm involved in education, and I see a lot of things that I'd like to see changing in the world. And yet, what I find for myself is that I can have this guiding light that just is the thing I know that is inside of me right now that wants to express through me. And right now that is that I am a center for compassion and kindness. And that's my guiding light in the world, so that I can wake up in the morning, and this is an inner work and an outer work. It is the thing that I saw in the world that I thought, I think the world needs a little more compassion and kindness right now. So that's clearly my work to do. Because often we can get stuck in this, like, whoa, there's a lot going on in the world, so what do I do? Like, what is mine to do? What's my purpose? But the great thing is that universal intelligence, that divine essence, is already lighting us up inside. So it's the thing we see. We don't actually have to spend time in confusion, in wondering, well, what can I possibly do? Do what's in your heart that wants to, that lights you up, that gets you out of bed in the morning. And compassion and kindness for me was also, in my own life. I've had a lot of opportunity to reflect because I'm turning 50 next week. And I'm like, what do I want the next part of my life to look like? And one thing I know is that I've had time of being very driven. And in some of my advocacy, it has been a very loud and banging on a table asking for change. And that's not where I am right now today. Where I am today is I'm a center for compassion and kindness. That kindness for myself, that kindness for, it might be time to slow the pace down a little. That it actually is good for my soul and for the world for me to slow down and take a nice walk in nature. That I don't have to be at top speed all the time. And then how I interact with every other person. Once I'm infused with that compassion and kindness, I can spread it to other people. and I am that wave, that ripple, the kindness then can ripple out from me, and I can treat other people with that more gentle kindness. So Howard Thurman has said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So we see this all the time. We live in a world, there's lots to be done, and some people, their piece in it is to make beautiful art. And we see that through history, right? We see times where people were, making art to reflect the time. And some of it was very sort of political, in-your-face art, and other times it was just a beautiful vision, picture of peace that represented what the longing was. And it's all perfect. We all have our role in it. And that's why what lights me up is not the same as what lights you up, and what lights you up, and what lights you up. So we have this simplicity in this complex world where we can settle in to the perfection of the present moment. We can open to the light within us, and we can rest and know that that's what's ours to do. And we can know that when it's ours is something new to do, something new is going to light us up. And that, I believe, is how we bring together our commitment and our faith. We don't have to figure it all out, just like nobody sat down and mapped out how the universe was going to expand over billions of years. That's not our job. Our job is to look at each other, to be present, heart to heart, to see each other, to hear each other, to love each other, and to find what within us, what lights us up, and what we can share with the world. And that is the thing, when I've watched a little CNN, that brings me back to hope and to joy and to love and to peace. We can appreciate the complexity, the good and the bad of it, and we can move into the simplicity of those universal principles that bring us into wholeness and into peace, and give us that place of stability and that foundation from which we can create whatever it is that wants to be created and expressed through us. Whether it's a beautiful song, or it's a work of art, or if it's some social justice. I'm all for the holding up the signs when that is the right thing for us to do. So I love that this service has this time for conversation. So I'd love for all of you to explore, what if life was that simple? What if all I needed was a guiding light that would, right now is my light that says, this is what lights me up, this is what I can wake up in the morning and just set on my way to do, both internally and externally. For me, I'm a center for compassion and kindness. What is it for you? Perhaps yours is much more out there and active and dramatic, or maybe it's more kind of intellectual and academic. It's all good. Maybe yours has a little more fire and anger to it. I don't think that's a problem, as long as it's, serving you and the world. So what is that thing within you, that guiding light? What is it that makes you come alive? Because that's the simplicity of life, I believe, is just finding that within us. Just a little one in the back, so it reminded me, I heard yesterday that NASA did a study back in the 60s. And what they were looking for is the creative genius. How many people had creative genius within them? So they did this test with a bunch of adults, and only 2% of adults they considered to be creative geniuses. Then they did the same test on 5-year-olds. 98% were creative geniuses. So sometimes it's just actually letting go of all those things that bog us down as the shoulds and the, we need to be, beyond that and get in touch with that 5-year-old within that already has that creative genius. So I think we will have some time to share, and in that space I'd love for you to really settle into, what is my guiding light? How can I move into a simplicity in a complex world? How do I find hope and hold hope and live in the perfection of the present moment? So thank you for being here. Thank you for having me share with you. And I'm excited to hear what you all come up with as your guiding lights. Thank you all.